You know that feeling, right? That huge task is just sitting there, looming over you. You know you need to do it, but suddenly, reorganizing your bookshelf feels like the most important job in the world. And then that wave of guilt washes over you, and you start thinking, why am I so lazy? We've all been there. But what if I told you that word, lazy, is the wrong word entirely? Okay, let's get into it.
This right here, this is the whole point. And honestly, it's a total game changer. Just let that sink in for a second. You're not lazy, you're scared. All that time you spent beating yourself up, all that self-criticism, it's all been aimed at the wrong target. It turns out procrastination isn't some kind of character flaw. Nope, it's actually a pretty complex psychological response to a much, much deeper feeling. And well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because this fear, it's sneaky. It's not some monster under the bed. It's more like a quiet hum of anxiety in the background. And that anxiety is what expertly steers you towards any distraction it can find to get you away from the task at hand. So let's pull back the curtain and figure out what's really going on.
But first, before we can really dig into the fear, we have to do something super important. We have to completely tear down this myth that procrastination and laziness are the same thing. They are not. Not even close, actually.
Now have a look at this, because the difference is everything. Laziness is just apathy. It's passive. It's when you're unwilling to do something because you genuinely just don't care about it. But procrastination, that is an active process. You are actively, consciously choosing to do something else, anything else, instead of the thing you know you should be doing. And here's the kicker. You procrastinate precisely because you do care about the task, a lot, and that's why you're avoiding it.
So if we care so much, why on earth are we actively running away from the work? Well, this is where our brain tries to act like our personal bodyguard. Procrastination is basically a form of emotional first aid. Your brain is trying to protect you from some really unpleasant feelings. Feelings that are almost always rooted in one of three hidden fears.
And here they are, the big three. Fear of failure, fear of success, and fear of the task itself. Now, as we walk through these, just ask yourself, does any of this sound familiar? You might just see yourself in one of them, or maybe even all three.
All right, let's start with the most common one, the one that probably everyone listening can relate to. This fear is tied right into our ego, our identity, and how we see ourselves.
This is the silent negotiation that's happening inside our own heads. It's this weird, subconscious logic that says, hey, if I put this off until the last minute and it doesn't go well, I have a built-in excuse. I just ran out of time. But if you give it your absolute all, your very best shot, and it still isn't good enough, that feels like a final verdict that you're just not competent. And to protect ourselves from that feeling, we'd literally rather be seen as lazy.
Okay, now this next one might sound a little weird. Afraid of succeeding? Who in the world would be afraid of that? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot of us are, especially if we've had a big win in the past.
See, the thing about success is that it creates brand new expectations. You knock one project out of the park, and suddenly that's the new standard. You become the person who does amazing work. That pressure to keep performing at that level, and the fear that you might not be able to do it again, that can be so paralyzing that it actually feels safer to just not start the next big thing at all.
All right, let's get to our final category. This fear has nothing to do with the outcome, whether you fail or succeed. Nope, this one is all about the work itself.
Sometimes the task itself is the scary monster. If it's so huge and overwhelming that you have no idea where to even begin, of course you're going to avoid it. Or if it's just mind-numbingly boring, your brain is going to scream for the instant gratification it can get from literally anything else. And then there are the vague tasks, the ones with unclear instructions. That's when you get stuck in analysis paralysis, where you just spin your wheels thinking about the work instead of actually doing it.
Okay, so we've named the enemy. We know it's fear. But that doesn't really help when a deadline is staring you down, right? Well, the great news is you don't need some crazy, complicated productivity system. You just need one simple little trick to outsmart your brain's fear response.
And here it is. It's a beautifully simple two-part move. First, you shrink the task. Forget write the report. Your new goal is open the document. That's it. This is the famous 2-minute rule. By making that first step so tiny, it's almost ridiculous. You lower the stakes, and the fear doesn't even have a chance to kick in. The second part, just identify the fear. Literally pause and ask yourself, okay, what am I actually afraid of here? Just saying it out loud, I'm afraid my boss won't like this.
can shrink that fear down to a size you can actually handle.
So if you walk away with just one thing today, please let it be this. This is such a powerful way to reframe things. The next time you feel that magnetic pull towards procrastination, don't get mad at yourself, don't call yourself lazy. Instead, get curious. Your procrastination is just a signal. Think of it like a little blinking light on your car's dashboard. It's just trying to tell you that there's an underlying fear that needs your attention.
And that's really what this all comes down to. The goal isn't to become fearless. That's impossible. The goal is to learn how to take action even when you're feeling that fear. So I'll leave you with this. What's that one thing you've been putting off? And what fear will you decide to face for just 2 minutes, starting right now?